Dame tu mano y venga conmigo. Vámonos al viaje para buscar los sonidos mágicos de Ecuador.
Okay, so I'm in Zulingen. I've just been looking for a magazine, IX magazine, to find Sven's article about BIMI. I've walked 5 miles. I've been to about, 8 shops. Nowhere at all stocks it. Battery's running low. This could be the last. Florian's coming to pick me up on the scooter. We're going to find this magazine if it's the last thing I do. What can I say? No one knows where. It's a very specific magazine, is it not? Computing magazine. I feel like more places need to stock it. Okay, to be continued. I hope the article is in English as well, because I won't be able to understand otherwise. So hello and welcome everyone to the latest episode of Deliverability.TV with myself, Anthony Mitchell, Florian Vierke.
Hello.
And our special guest today, Sven Krohlas. Hello Sven.
Hi there.
Hi there Sven. Hi there Sven, good to have you on board. And today's episode is actually about BIMI, which is brand indicators for message identification. And in fact, yes, so this was the inspiration. So Sven is also the author of an article called Gestempelt, which means stamp, and I'll just show that on the screen now. And this is for the magazine IX magazine. So yeah, good to have you on board, Sven, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. So, Florian, how should we kick this off then?
Okay, we should kick it off with BIMI, I think. So, actually, can you explain in a few words what BIMI is and how it came that you write this nice article? So, what's your take on BIMI?
Well, the idea behind BIMI is relatively simple. We all know that those phishing issues we have. There's an email coming in from claims to be from your bank or PayPal or from a shop or whatnot. And how should a normal user know that this email is really coming from that brand? So it's a complicated process. You have to know where they are sending from, whether the style of that email is correct. But these days, the phishers, they take original emails, and it's absolutely the same content as the normal mailing that brand sends, except for one link or the attached invoice or stuff like that. So basically, it's really complicated and really hard to distinguish phishing, good phishing, from the original, from real emails. So the idea is quite simple. The vision is quite simple, so to say. If real emails had a brand logo in your inbox next to that email, then you would know, okay, there's a brand logo, so that email is not phishing.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Like the blue sign in Twitter, that's like an authenticated account from a public person, something like that, right? You didn't get me.
Audio quality.
I meant like on Twitter when you have the blue buttons for the official accounts.
Verified accounts. Yeah.
That's
something
like that. Okay.
But not simply verified account, but really the brand logo. So you have their logo there.
Okay, well, maybe we need to collect the people not being that much expert. So for preventing phishing, we have two technologies to authenticate email. First one is SPF, and the second one is DKIM, and they work together somehow in DMARC. So that's the frame method for authentication. And in the end, also phishers can do that with their own domain, so nobody prevents them to set up a valid DMARC record on their fake domain. That's why we need something like a third-party authority team to verify which domains really are from a real bank and which ones are not. Is that basically the idea?
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You can just think about the usual marketing processes. They got a new marketing idea and they want to do some kind of summer special for my brand. So they set up summer special -mybrand.com, and nobody knows whether that domain really belongs to my brand or not. Nobody except the marketing guys. So marketing, it's important, but it simply doesn't work for the end user. But if there's some kind of a mechanism that allows us to put those logos there, then we can simply teach everybody just look at the logos.
Okay.
And we need to have a reliable mechanism there, and that's where BIMI starts, yeah?
Okay.
Ist das zu spät? Oh. Oh no.
Maybe one additional comment on that one. For those who are not that familiar with domains and so on, if you use something like summerspecial.samplebank.com, it's a completely different story than using summerspecial-samplebank.com, because
Exactly.
the dot means it's a subdomain of the parent domain, which is covered then with the security, while dash is a completely different domain. And even if it sounds the same or similar, it's completely different domain that is not related technically. That's why. So you had a question, a couple of questions actually.
Yeah, as always, he says, looking at his notebook. So I had a couple of questions. So at the minute, you mentioned that this is you're on the road to building this framework. So is it in fact a work in progress, or is there something that actually can be worked with now? So that was my first question.
Both, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a test going on at Yahoo, where they are still manually verifying that the logos belong to the brand that offers that domain, that owns that domain. But it's still, the technical standard is still work in progress. So there will be something like mark verification authorities, and these mark verification authorities, it's still not exactly well defined what they are. It might be a system similar to the certificate authority system we have with TLS, where you have authorities that sign your crypto keys, stuff like that. It might be authorities that simply publish domain lists. It's still open for debate.
Okay, but it will be definitely a third party. It will not be on the ISP side, right?
No, we need a technical solution that works worldwide and not individually for single ISPs. We need something that works everywhere. And so we need some kind of trust anchor in that system. An ISP can for sure also start to join that kind of business and verify brands and brand logos, but we'll see how it's going to develop. Yeah.
Okay, and what's the status? So is there already a discussion about that? Who could that be, or who will that be? Or is there just the idea, we need that, but yeah, we don't know yet how to do it?
There is an RFC draft available. Yeah, on that magazine there is a link.
I read the article and not followed every single link. I was afraid of
you added to the show, yeah.
I was afraid of phishing,
RFC draft
actually.
available on GitHub, but it's still under discussion, so that things might still change.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
You mentioned the conflict in Germany to trusted dialogue. So there's a program in Germany where the biggest ISP take part, which is called Trusted Dialogue, which is in the end doing exactly that, so that you pay for getting a brand logo displayed. So do you think there will be some kind of, or is it possible to have some kind of collaboration later on, or will they try simply to not to implement BIMI because they already have their own standards? What's your expectation?
Well,
question.
I wouldn't call it a problem because they already solved the problem before BIMI, because you now as a brand you can go to Trusted Dialogue and for the German market you get your brand logos and you can tell your customers when there is a logo, it's not phishing, yeah, everything's great. But it's of course limited to the few ISPs that are participating there, and so it's not a worldwide solution but just a solution for a few ISPs. Okay. By the way, other ISPs are doing the same. They have their internal databases of brand logos and domains and are mapping those, that stuff, and they are showing logos sometimes. So, yeah. But we'll see how that will develop. Trusted Dialogue, United Internet Media, actually, if Trusted Dialogue is the product and United Internet Media, the company, they might also offer BIMI support in the future. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Yeah. So
with or without
it's
spam
definitely one possible way to move forward there. But yeah, we will see.
What about the spam button with BIMI and Trusted Dialogue?
Combine.
Yeah, I know Trusted Dialogue certified brands. They usually you don't have a spam button in the web front ends of those major German ISPs. So as those are verified senders, so to say, certified, and they should adhere to the usual best practices. But I don't know how that product will develop in the future, so I don't work there. Okay. So I can only guess. So spam button every now and then makes sense, but we also have other interesting standards. Think about RFC 8058 for that one-click unsubscribe. Yes. You can put that into the workflow. You can say, okay, if the user wants to click just click the spam button, but it was that the email was from a trusted sender, so we can offer the user something like, oh well, we know that's a trusted sender and you just press spam, so do you want to unsubscribe instead? So stuff doesn't end up in spam and no more reputation loss, and the user who is obviously no longer interested in that mailing can unsubscribe. So maybe something like that is going to happen, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Sven, perhaps following up from Florian's. So, take me as like a sender, from a sender perspective. Now, of course, different clients or brands, they have different quantities they're sending to on a daily, monthly basis. Would you foresee perhaps BIMI being something for a larger brand organisation, or could it even be quite could it hit the nail on the head for smaller businesses, perhaps not sending to larger volumes? Or is it a case of, I guess my real question is there like overheads for small businesses? Should they be worried about the costing or price at all?
don't know prices yet because it's still under development.
Yeah, of course.
But BIMI it's quite nice because on the one hand you got phishing protection because no brand logo and that's the real email. If it doesn't have a brand logo, it's fake. So on the one hand you have phishing protection, but on the other hand there are brand logos, so it's also a marketing instrument. So that's the nice thing here. Before BIMI, most security features you had to implement. Basically, you had to convince your management to spend money on a security feature. And now you can tell them, okay, we have a marketing feature here that also improves security. So they might not think about the costs only, but also about profit and benefit they get from there.
Absolutely.
So that's a nice combination. So it might be helpful for small businesses. It might especially be helpful for businesses that are phishing victims all the time. Yeah, think about financial institutions, large shops, eBay, Amazon, that stuff. Yeah, where attackers can simply take the whole address lists and the phishing email to millions of accounts, and most of them will have will be customers of that brand, so that works quite well. If you want to start phishing against a small company, you basically need a customer list because all those emails you send out, they're all gonna end up in the spam folder. People are gonna think, that brand, I have never heard of them, that has to be fake. So yeah, so
but that was
it's gonna help everyone, I guess.
And that was actually one of my thoughts as well, that this part of BIMI could boost also DMARC, because some smaller companies ask about should I go for DMARC, and actually in terms of security there's not so much such a big advantage, and the reporting they cannot work on that anyway. So for DMARC so far there was not such a big advantage, but in combination with BIMI that could change. So I think BIMI and DMARC can also boost each other in a really good way.
Definitely, and we can see that we can see parallels here too. For example, when you're sending emails to Gmail via IPv6, they also expect you to adhere to more modern best practices like use DMARC and all that stuff. And here we got the same. Basically, you want to see your brand logos, then stick to the modern, up-to-date best practices for email sending.
You want it, or
I think he's going to ask a question. Let's go.
No, so my question is, what about, I don't know if the ideas are already that far. What about actually the fan got on?
Yeah, my laptop starts to overheat. It's fine.
Okay.
The laptop is so excited about the topic. No, my question is about the authorities or the authentication. Is that thought to be done just once per domain, and then BIMI is like activated and the domain is trusted? Because sometimes also domains are sold to someone else, and then how to avoid, my question would be how to avoid abuse when someone, bad guy, is buying a domain from a good guy that forgot to pay the fees, and then overtakes the domain and then sends trusted content with phishing. That could actually become a problem. So is there any ideas in that direction or not so far?
I'm not in that on that working group, so I don't know what they're actually discussing. But we could technically go basically the same way as we did with TLS. So certificates have a limited time span where they are valid, and we need something like revocation lists so we can revoke certificates again. With stuff like that. We should be able to handle these use cases.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess one of my questions where would be a good kind of resource? Should we follow the RFC document that's been published just to try and keep up to date with the progress of it and the status of BIMI, or will it be some publications once things are starting to be rolled out, and we'll know more, I guess?
Yeah, stuff like that is usually being discussed at MORG, so I can only recommend attending the conference. Apart from that, I think they got a mailing list, but I'm not absolutely sure, but I'm pretty sure there has to be a mailing list. They have that website authentication what was it called? Put it into the links of the video in the end.
We'll do.
The article.
I'll link it up.
Yeah, they got that website for that Yahoo program that they just started. And so I guess when you're in contact with that working group that way, so you get the updates.
Absolutely. Yeah, do you have a question?
Okay, cool.
I've got a couple more questions.
Really?
Yeah, I always try and surprise Florian because he thinks I've got no questions left, and I've been holding some questions back. So one of the questions I had, in fact, Sven, did you have a question for us? That's one question.
I haven't prepared any questions.
No. That's fine. I just wanted to steal Florian's thunder about that question.
I really have to look at that. Actually, I had to look at that camera right in front of me, but you're here, and the camera you're seeing me from is there, and so it's a bit confusing for me.
No, that's all good. It's so far so good. I had another question. Did you want to?
So for a company, what would you recommend as a next step? Should they do some action now, like subscribing at Yahoo for the test pilot, or should they, or are they good with just waiting for a few more weeks how the project develops? So if someone from a company asks you, what should I do anything right now for BIMI, what would you say?
Well, you should definitely try to keep up on the technology. Whether you want to actually use it right now already or not, I'd say that depends on what kind of company you are. Financial institutions and those worldwide big stores, I would definitely go for yes, do it, because there are phishing campaigns targeted at you all the time. So try to reduce that impact as soon as possible with them. Try test every measure, every tool that is available, and then find out which tool works. So if BIMI actually works and you see no more victims from Yahoo, then BIMI works. So then you can also start pressuring other ISPs and tell them, support BIMI, we need that protection. Otherwise there is so many billions of damages. And so investigate it, definitely investigate it,
Okay, but the results currently are limited on OAuth, right? So, Yahoo, AOL. That correct?
As far as I know, that test drive is only affecting Yahoo, not AOL, so not all of OAuth, but if it works for one brand, it's likely, I guess, they're gonna extend it to other brands too. They have several brands, so they can test different stuff, and they can do A/B testing, so to say.
Okay, cool. So should we come to the favorite questions?
Yeah, just before we come to the favourite questions, just want to say thanks for that information, Sven. It's really insightful. I think perhaps at a later date we'll follow up with some of the finer technicalities of it. I know there's also the technical back-end configuration side, but that was really insightful, thank you, and I'm sure speaks not just for myself, for the viewers. Thanks for that. So yes, back to the questions, Florian. Okay. You have one, I have one.
So as a person loving email and enjoying the community, what's the thing that you like most about email, and what's the thing that you think it's most annoying about email?
Well, it's an open standard. It works everywhere, so you can. It's not proprietary. When you're using Skype, you can only talk to Skype users and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a closed system. Email works everywhere. I can set up my own mail server and talk to everybody. That works. But at the same time, because it's such an open system, we have security issues all the time. Phishing and all these different kinds of scams, spam in general, of course. So that's very annoying. When you have a closed, locked system, you know your users, you know that account is new, and hey, that new account just registered a few minutes ago, start sending messages to hundreds of other accounts. So yeah, you're gonna throttle that down. But as an email receiver, you have no idea whether that's a new account or not, so you have a problem.
Okay, but otherwise
so
we would.
It has its advantages and disadvantages, yeah.
But for the disadvantage is also an advantage because otherwise we would be unemployed.
Well, I'm doing security consulting these days, and there are security issues everywhere, and we all know email and malware. Email is a popular way to spread malware, but if there wasn't email, then they would use other stuff. So.
Okay, cool.
Security is always a topic, yeah.
Okay, and last question, what does your Pokédex look like? Is it still going on?
My Pokédex?
Yeah.
The recording is running on that mobile device right now, but I'm still missing some of those international ones, those location-specific ones outside of Europe and Northern America.
Oh, okay.
So I still definitely have to go to Japan or so to get to get a few Pokemon there. But apart from that, yeah, I play that game every day, so I get most Pokemon. I still have to develop a few because I haven't found a good one to develop. So I could, but I haven't done so.
Okay, good. By the way, we've just watched Dark Tourist on Netflix, and there's an episode about Japan as well. So there's some dangerous areas. If you don't know that, Netflix, you have time, check it out. It's cool.
Well, I had a look at possible Fukushima excursion. So they are now offering the first few tourist trips to have a look at Fukushima.
Exactly.
Last year I visited Chernobyl, and maybe next year Fukushima, we'll see.
Yeah. So you're a dark tourist, actually. The dark tourists are people visiting dangerous places so that's. During my day-to-day job, I sit at a desk and type stuff on the computer, so I have to do something else. Yeah, I'm not a guy for a beach holiday. So beach holiday, oh my god, sitting around all day. That's what I do for work. Yeah, that's why I bought a chainsaw and chopping wood. Actually.
Yeah, tell me about it. He's had me carrying wood for about 2 days.
He was so exhausted.
It's
but the result is good.
It's all good.
Cool. I think that's all. I know we had such a long it's a long time we've been discussing to do one episode one day, and I'm so happy we did it today. So thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, Sven. Appreciate that.
Yep.
And thanks for watching.
Let's see how that recording worked out.
Yes, we will see. It will be good. It must be good. No worries about that.
All right.
I'll just wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Sven, and thanks, Florian. And
thanks.
See you
next time. See you. Bye bye.
Du kannst schon bleiben.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning,
Sven.
So how's the audio quality?
How's it going? Oh, I can hear the your audio. There's a little bit of an echo. One sec. It might be us. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Maybe it's too. Do you think it's too close to the?
Should we try?
So we're switching off audio here and using the normal telephone.
Yes.
Okay.
There's always a solution. 2018. There's always a solution.
It's better.
Can you? Is it because there's an echo?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down at
Yeah.
Perfect.
Much better.
Seriously?
Yeah.
20% it is?
Yeah, honestly, it's great. In fact, that's fantastic.
Do you have a smartphone?
Do I have what?
Smartphone. Mobile phone.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, I got the front camera. It's working. Front camera. Here we go.
Perfect.
You can see yourself on my screen.
Oh, eternity. We see
So
eternity.
we can also record the screen like this, if that helps.
No.
No?